Thank you for listening to It's On Us podcast. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and enjoy the episode.
Okay.
There we go.
Here we go.
All right, bring it back. Take two.
Take two.
And
Today-
action.
On another episode of IOU, episode 18, we are going live
We
on
are-
Facebook.
We are live.
And we are currently 4 deep. We are missing a few members this weekend. To my left, I have Ash.
Yo.
To my right, I have John.
What's going on?
And to my far left, I have my good guy, the Glizzy Guzzler.
The Glizzy Guzzler.
Hi, Mom.
There we go.
All
All right.
So today's episode is based around what is relationship? Not just on a aspect of like friend, but like the idea of relationship, period. So for you guys, what is your view of a relationship? How do you perceive relationship?
Well, hold on. First things first.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get the definition.
Okay, I got you. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
All right. So, according to the dictionary, relationship, the way in which two or more concepts, objects, and people are connected, or like the state of being connected. That is the definition of relationship.
You know, that kind of reminds me of community a little bit. You know, how we mentioned the community has commonality together. I think that they correlate in a way. They share something. You share something in a relationship. It could be an animal with an animal, or people with people. It could be a friendship. It could be something that's a little bit deeper than that. It could be a sexual relationship, or even like a mentorship. Someone that's trying to mentor you for business and things like that. So
That would be an idea of a relationship. Yeah, like for me, one aspect, I definitely agree with the definition, but like I'm in a relationship of where like me going to the gym consistently, that relationship of getting a commitment to like that type of relationship. So like that would be my idea or my structure of what a relationship would be. So for Jacob, what about you?
Just kind of build off what John said. John just had like a perfect definition of how I look at it. It's basically just,
It's frozen.
whether it's a mentorship or relationship or, something family related.
No, that's dope though. So okay, so in relationship, we kind of like talked about sports a little bit, and you kind of brought this up in our Discord Tuesday about how NFL players and their relationship with like the higher ups. So can you kind of like just highlight what? Oh,
Pause it, Jacob.
what happened?
pause.
Book. Not sure how many or who.
We got 4.
Make yourself known.
Ain't it? Drop some love.
Yeah, let's see.
So, Ash, go back to your previous question.
Okay, so last week we kind of talked about, or on our Discord, we kind of talked about the relationship between like NFL players and their like, I guess bosses, you could say,
Yeah, or the owners.
are the owners, and like they're trying to compare it to like NBA players and their like relationship to their like teams. So like for instance, James Harden wanted out of Houston.
Said, I'm going to get out of
He
Houston.
said, I want to get out of Houston. So he took whatever was best for him, and he got out of Houston. But for a player that plays for the Houston Texans, it's not as easy for them to explore or get out of Houston if they say, like, I'm not happy here. So how do we understand, or how do you perceive, like, that? Like, how should they go about that? If people, NFL players, want to get out of their contract, how can they do that? Is it like...
It's easier said than done for the NFL, I've noticed, just over the years, just watching how transactions are and stuff like that, opposed to the NBA. Like, NBA, literally, players will be like, we don't want to play for you anymore. Tell the GM, and then the GM works out something, because if it's a viable player, then that GM's mindset is probably like, okay, if this dude doesn't want to play for us, then obviously we can make a trade to help better our draft picks or something, help better our, help us in a semi-rebuild.
Okay.
Where the NFL, they play 16 games, and I don't think they think like that. And plus, it's just the way that they run the leagues are so totally different. I believe the NBA the players themselves have more freedom than the NFL.
So the players run the league in the NBA, but in the NFL, it's not like that at all.
To a certain extent, I would agree with that.
But only the top players, or top tier NFL players, are able to kind of sway and go where they want to go versus like NBA players.
That's kind of what I was gonna say. I feel like NBA, like James Harden is a top-tier player, so if he doesn't want to play on your team, you know you can get the most valuable pieces to fit your puzzle if you were to trade him. Or, I mean, if you keep him, I mean, he's still going to give you 25, 7 and 7, you know, hypothetically. But is he really going to be there? Like, the chemistry of the whole team is going to diminish because of one person. And I mean, in the NFL, depending on what position it is, I feel like there's always the next man up. And I think that's why they are so hard on Deshaun right now, because there's not always the next quarterback up. There's been countless teams that have gone years without a quarterback. And, you know what I mean? Having Deshaun Watson, like, they want to keep him to have that top-tier quarterback, but I think it's a lot different when they don't want to be there. But like I said,
yeah, but how, like, I guess it's like more of a value base. Like, if I'm a really good asset to what you're trying to do,
right,
then I know my worth and I'm able to, like, negotiate something with you versus I'm just another quarterback. You really don't have as much say so. So that could be like one aspect as well.
Well, and you got to think too, in the NFL they have 16 games to kind of prove themselves, whereas in the NBA you have maybe 100 games and 100 different nights that you can say I'm worth this. In the NFL, it's like you said, there's so many fifth string, you know, roster, you know, cornerbacks. I mean, if the first one doesn't act right or does something right, you know, then it's next man up.
Like Washington this year. Deshaun Haskins started the season. He got benched. And then who was in front of Alex Smith?
Not Case Keenum. We have him.
No, not Case Keenum. Well, whoever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And still, they got to the third string quarterback, and it's like, man, it's like next man up.
In the NBA, it's maybe you might have a second point guard on the bench, you might not.
Right.
Because even on the NBA roster, there's like, I want to say 15 players in case somebody gets hurt or they just have that deep of a roster versus the NFL on their sideline. It's what, like
70 people, 52.
That's a deep roster on the side. So maybe
I think it's 55.
Maybe it's something to do with like it all comes down to money as well. So like
money runs the world,
right? So contracts, like NBA players, they may like, hey, this person just signed for 2-year extension, this much money, versus an NFL player. Like, for example, who just signed a big contract in the NFL?
JJ Watt, 2 years, $36 million for the Cardinals, I believe he signed.
How much of that is guaranteed?
I think like 30.
Yeah, 30. He got like high 20s.
Like 28, 29,
something
somewhere
guaranteed.
around there.
Okay, so
the guaranteed money in the NFL is so nuts, dude. Oh my goodness.
But what's crazy is even in that what's his name, Hill, Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
he signed like a big deal, none of his money is guaranteed.
Right,
wow.
He's
he signed like a $150 million deal, and none of it's guaranteed.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
what?
Because this year is guaranteed, but besides that, the next 4 years of his contract voidable.
Yeah.
Salary cap purposes and shit, like the whole
Wow.
the whole science behind the salary cap is just nuts. How they got to figure out that shit and just like, hold up, if we restructure his contract, then that frees up more room so we can sign this. Just the science behind it is just.
And it goes to like what you said, the relationship. I feel like you have a better relationship with 15 people than you will
Smaller
50
number.
people.
Right.
True.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
and
like
you're another person in that 50, but in that 15, you're. And we were talking last night about I was on the bowling team during my high school years, and I had a fucking blast. And it was just because the people that I was with, we made it something.
The best that situation, right? So so I guess you would say, NBA players have more of an impact because they're smaller numbers and they actually can voice their opinions versus NFL, just another number out of 50. So I think that would probably be like their relationship with that though. But,
and like I said, I think, man, like Mark Cuban just like paves the way to what an owner should be. I mean, he's there courtside, and like, who's the dude from the Clippers?
Steve Ballmer.
Yep, he's there courtside. Like, he's, you know what I mean? He's passionate about his team and who he's actually putting out there. I don't think sometimes in the NFL, you know, that owner, he ain't naming all 55 people on that team. On the starting day roster, he's not naming all 55.
No. I said versus the NBA, like the GM knows each individual player, probably been to their house, knows their family, like that type of intimacy, like relationship is like important when you're trying to build anything.
True.
So even for like us in our like personal lives, we have like friendships. So how do you? I had this conversation last night. I'm like, how do you know in a friendship who's good for you and what's not good for you? Is it more of like my perception on the world is more broad than yours? So like, I shouldn't try to, overstep, or like how do you approach that situation?
Well, I mean, in some instances, you may not even know that someone's bad for you until something happens where it's almost glaring at you. You might be in it and say, "Well, I'm having a good time," but is it
the right thing to do?
Yeah, the right time or the right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So like, if I'm in a friendship and say we're having fun, everything's great, but we end up in jail together, do you think that would be a positive friendship? If like, man, we probably should like avoid doing whatever the hell we were doing because
Hell yeah.
we don't want to keep coming to this place. Like,
Right.
but some people, it's like we have this connection, so yeah, we go to jail, we'll ride or die for each other,
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
how toxic or bad it may seem. You know what I mean? So I guess you gotta put yourself around people who intentionally want better for you, but you gotta want better for yourself first.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
That's deep, man.
It sounds like you're describing me and the Indians right now.
How are the Indians doing?
They won today, 4 straight so far.
Oh, hey.
Tied for first place,
They suck.
which doesn't really matter right now. 9 games in, I think,
Wow.
maybe 10. I don't know, 9 or 10.
It's pretty good. I mean, I thought they were gonna do much worse.
They
Yeah.
pissed.
So-
They pissed me
They've
off.
actually the last couple games they've been stringing off a couple hits and actually scoring the ball a lot lately. So
Last 2 years, they pissed me off. They've always had a good pitching roster, like good pitching rotation, but when it came to the bats, nothing.
boo boo.
Boo boo.
I actually wish I would have played baseball in high school.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a lot different though. But my hand-eye coordination, like,
It's not good, so you would have done.
So I would say honestly,
it's not good. It's not the best, but
to go off the relationship, some of
you
my
didn't play sports. What are you guys talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, your hand-eye coordination in
I was in
2012 was
robotics.
really bad.
I was in robotics.
Get
Coming
outta
in
here.
correct.
He was the guy behind the desk, like, oh, this guy's fucking.
But yeah, some of my baseball relationships that I've had growing up are like some of my like most genuine like actual like relationships that I won't see these people for a very long time, like Harsar. I won't see Mason for so long, but we play so much ball together. If I see him, man, it's just like, man, I'm like my brother on the
Right.
diamond, It's like you just bring back so many memories, or like Bledsoe, Cody. Same with him. Like if you see these people and it's like, man, how are you? And just just the relationship that you put on like with certain games or just practices every day and all that shit. Same with basketball.
Yeah.
Like you got some of your basketball people that when you see each other, it's like, bro, all love, no matter what.
I don't gotta see you for 10 plus years, but when I see you, I'm like, hey, you still active? You still play sports? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's go play somewhere.
Right.
That was our first initial like connection
Yes.
to build a friendship, maybe beyond just sports. Like we're on the court, it's cool, but then outside of that, you actually get to meet, like he said, genuine people that go through different struggles, and it's like it's kind of refreshing because it's like I'm not the only one going through this type of, resistance, friendship, or whatever the
There's
case may be.
issues in life. Not even saying like a struggle, just
Even that, to connect to that is a work relationship, someone
Yeah.
that you work with, and you basically you're there because you have to be working with them, but then it could turn into something more where it could turn into a actual sexual relationship, or
What's up with you and sexual today?
I'm just
dude?
saying, I'm just
We
differentiating.
can talk about it.
John trying to let some feelings out today.
I'm just
Apparently,
differentiating the friendships and sexual. It's like
Yeah.
you could be a friend, but you also be
Okay, so I know exactly what
Friends
you're
with
talking
benefits.
about. No,
Yeah.
and that's even dangerous waters to trench into. But like, what you're saying is, John, like once you step into like we're friends. I'm not using you for example. It's like say like
He is.
two people are friends, right? And once you get into that friend zone, but you want more out of it than the other person, it's like hard to get out of the friend zone because they have just like trust in you. It's like, okay,
Yes.
he'll I feel protected around him all the time. I know he's not gonna like do nothing crazy. But then like, well, for you, it's like I kind of want more. But then it's like, no, I don't see you in that light. So how do
Right.
you get out of the friend zone?
fucking beats me.
You know what I'm saying? Once you're in there, it's like,
you're trapped.
Yeah.
So, Gabes Story,
okay.
year of 2010,
Here we go.
junior year.
Ooh, it's a
I,
bad-
I was put into the friend zone 636 times.
How many times?
That number is
heard that,
exaggerated by a lot, but
600 and what?
36 times.
Damn.
How do you know that number?
It's an exaggerated number. It's more like 50 something, but still,
Okay. It's a high number. Okay.
it's high. It's
Yeah.
very high.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, it's because how you approach people, how you interact. And in high school, let's just say I was goofy and I didn't know how to interact with females. So yeah, so I was just awkward.
Oh. I mean, you weren't awkward. I mean, we all had that
I
space.
was a 10 and everybody else was like at a 5. It was far as like being hyper and shit like that,
Yeah.
or just being out there.
But I feel like there's so many, again, like politics that go into like when you get to high school. It's like,
Oh, there is.
man, it's almost like we were thrown into this giant prison, quote unquote, and then like you're just forced to like put yourself in groups, like even like
cults.
Well, there was the whole.
Well, but I wouldn't say it extreme as cult.
not
Yeah.
extreme, but like it's like that though, right?
What's the there's some sort of like
Like
scenario.
the cheerleaders fuck with the cheerleaders.
Like that lunch, that
Clicks.
9th grade lunchroom, first lunch, you gotta pick your table type shit. Like,
Yeah.
and
That,
that,
oh yeah,
yeah, I see.
that
Like,
table sets you up for.
you got your fucking milk and your fucking pizza. Like
For the rest, because
yeah.
right from middle school to high school, it's like okay, I knew them in middle school, but once high school, that's a whole different net of people you get to know. Like you got seniors, you got juniors, you got sophomore. Like you're a freshman walking in, you go into the lunchroom, you get your lunch, you turn around, like it's a whole sea of people. Where do I go?
Right. I'll even do you one better because that was me going into high school. I went to Johnny Wilson.
See,
7th, 8th grade, going into 9th grade. I'm like, yeah, going to Lorraine High, baby. Yeah.
Nope.
Parents moved to the south side, right into Shantytown. I go to Clearview. First day, I know Brandon, and I know a few random people. Like, oh,
you know of some people.
You know what I'm saying?
don't know
Right,
people.
right.
You know of some people.
It's just me and Brandon, and me and him just where we sitting at. I'm like, who was just in class with us? Right there. I just boom. That's all I was. I'm
Wow.
like, are you in things class? I'm like, all right, bet. Like, you know, I just lied about something, saying I need help with some type of work, but you know what I mean. Me and Brandon just kind of just sat there. At least we didn't sit by ourselves. You know what I mean? Like,
That's true. That's true.
I don't like to see people sitting by themselves. I guess that was always like a part of me. Like even like growing up, like some guy that maybe sitting at like the Yu-Gi-Oh card table like by himself, and it's like I kind of like that stuff too. But like then you have the persuasion of people outside, like, oh, look at him, he's the loser because he's sitting by himself. So it's like dealing with that type of pressure. Like how
Right.
do you? And that's one of those things I want high schoolers to like understand. Like it's okay to be yourself.
Even if it is like that. I mean, even if you have to be not a loner, but like if you want to be alone, you can be alone. I mean, you don't have to.
Right.
I mean, I think me and Jacob, we had a good lunch table. I think we accepted a lot more people over like the period. Like like we kind of didn't like see people like that were like lonely, but it's like
People would just ask us, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
can we sit with you?" We didn't care.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it would like our table was real chill. It was me, you, Bridget, Mackenzie, and Eric, right?
yeah, that was
And like we would just have like one random person like a day or a week that would just come by with us for a weekend. It was like, okay, I don't care.
I can't remember who sat with me, but I know all them bitches was going. Them bitches was going. I seen a few scuffles in them bitches. You know what I'm saying? It was just fun though. It was just a great time. But honestly, I'd rather have middle school lunches over.
What
High school
relationships do you
lunches.
miss the most though? Do you miss your middle school, elementary relationships with those friends, or the relationships you've built in high school? Like,
See,
if you could choose one, which
I
one
s-
would you choose?
I see a mix of both though.
Okay.
So like on the daily basis, like, cause he knows Didi, and I went to middle school with Didi.
Right.
So it's like when I see him, we talk about the people that we went to middle school with. You know, like Iben. I still see Iben. He went to middle school with us. Devontae, Keithley, Anthony, and Nick. Like those are like my middles that I know from middle school. And then I got like Eric, Dame, Austin. I know Austin damn near from baseball from damn near my whole life. And, you know.
Because even like last time we went to game one. Shout out to game one. So like every time we kind of go there, it's like, no, their drinks are like way too intense. So I gotta start moderating that as well. But like when we go there though, it's always refreshing because you see people we haven't seen in a long time. Like, hey, how are you? How's life treating you? And I'm like, real open armed to like, and you'll see like, oh hey, you know, I'm just working this place in the third, and it's like, okay, man, well, you ever need me? Here's my number. You know, let's tap in. Let's do something.
It was like a class reunion last night. It was about 20 people from our class. It was awesome to see everybody, and I haven't seen people in like 10 years. I was like, I haven't seen you since we graduated, type shit.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you see like what they're into. And like, hey, I'm kind of been like dipping into that. Like, let's talk about some stuff. Like us doing the podcast, people are starting to gravitate. Like, oh, you guys host a podcast? Yeah, it's called It's On Us. Make sure you guys go check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. And listen to
Episode 18.
Listen to our conversation. Like today, we're going live. Now we're casting a bigger net because people can see our face. So now it's like,
Hello,
oh,
Facebook.
That's you on that podcast. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm listening. I'll subscribe. Yep. And so now we're building that relationship, which is always important to us, though. So yeah. So now we have another topic that is kind of like making people laugh a little bit. So what was one of your most embarrassing moments? You could say in high school to now.
Embarrassing moments?
Yeah.
I mean, man. I'll go
Define
last because I got a
embarrassing.
lot, so I'll go last.
Would you like to hear my story? It's not long-winded, but it is definitely like there's a lot of parts to it. So I'll go first, and I'll try to make it
Bearable.
bearable. So to start, I'm just gonna let you know I went to a Pizza Hut buffet before this happened. Okay, just keep that in mind.
God.
Pizza Hut buffet at lunch. I had an all-you-can-eat it was sitting out, all this shit,
Cheesy bread.
all that. So then I had to go to Cleveland for my class. Okay, at Cleveland State, I had to go at 6 o'clock. My class started. So I took the red line from Lakewood to Cleveland, and it's like a 20-minute train ride into Cleveland. So I get there at 6. My professor's like, "Hey, we're gonna meet today for about half an hour, and then you guys are free to do what you want." So I was like, I just spent an hour to get out here for a 30-minute class. So I said, I'm gonna go to a Cavs game. So I found tickets to a Cavs game that started at 7 for $20. I got a ticket. I was the first row on top of their tunnel for $20. I was like, oh, for sure.
Damn.
That's a steal, yeah.
Yeah,
Level up.
I was eye to eye with LeBron. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this for sure. So I go, and I'm having a great time. There's a giveaway, all this stuff, great time. So around halftime, I start feeling my stomach starts getting upset,
Oh shit.
and
You got the bubble guts?
I don't know what was going. I was like, man. So I go to the bathroom.
Something was
after
lurking.
after halftime was over, I go to the bathroom. No one's in there. I start throwing up.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm like, all right, let me go back to my seat. Let's see if I can go,
Keep
ride
going.
this out. So I got some water. Then the fourth quarter started. I had to go. I threw up again. I went back and threw up again. I said, I got to go home. So I get back on the train. So I'm waiting for this train to come. I feel like shit. And I'm on the train. This is like, now it's like 8, 9 o'clock, right? So it's dark. And I'm in this train. I'm sitting there trying to go home, waiting to go home. I just throw up on the train.
Hell no.
I projectile threw
I
up
was
right.
not ready for that one. Hell no.
And it came out.
Crazy
It was
thing.
something I couldn't. People out there. Sometimes there's situations you get into and you just can't. I did not foresee myself throwing up anymore. And of course, on a train, projectile shit. What was worse was the train was like halfway packed. No one said anything to me. They were like, everybody was like,
This is normal. This
This
is normal
is-
for a Friday night.
literally,
He
I'm in,
must have been partying, right? So I'm like, nobody was phased, checked on you or anything?
nobody checked on me. Nobody said shit.
Hell
There was a
no.
homeless person in front of me in the next chair. He had like a suitcase, luggage, like backpack.
He's thinking like, been there before.
He was sleeping, right?
Right.
The throw up was gravitating towards his backpack on the floor, and I seen it pooling. I was like, "Oh my god, it's good!" So I had to like tap. I had to wake him up. I'm like, "Hey," I said, "You got to move." I threw up,
Right.
and
Hell no.
so he's like all grumpy, and he was like, "Oh shit!" And he picked up his stuff, and basically I got off the train on the next exit. I wasn't even at my car yet. I got off at the next exit. I was like. So I felt so bad. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I have to get out of here. So the doors open. I ran out. No one said shit to me. So I didn't know what to do. I got home. I'm not gonna lie. This was 15 or 16, about 2015. I went home. I was so embarrassed. My mom could attest to this. And this is I was crying. I was hurting, man. I got I think it was food poisoning, honestly. And I felt just so bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say what
That
made you
Pizza Hut fucked
So
you
the Pizza Hut.
up.
Yep.
Dang.
Them fucking. So just don't go at like 1 p.m. when pizza's been sitting there since 10.
Oh no, that's
You see
bad.
that shit got
That's bad pizza.
juice.
So
So for Gabe, for you, embarrassing
My
moment.
I can't follow that one up. I can't even lie.
That was pretty good. Though.
That was actually
It was
pretty good. That was
embarrassing.
actually very embarrassing. Yeah. My most embarrassing moment. I wouldn't say it was embarrassing. But I guess it's embarrassing, man. So I went to Vegas for, I think it was my 22nd birthday. And the buddies I went with was Harv, Austin, and Julian. And it was my birthday weekend, so
22nd birthday.
22nd.
Right, yeah.
You are a young buck in Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah, yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so yeah, we getting loose. You know what I mean? Prime. And side story, I guess this doesn't really matter, but it does matter. It was the month of that Vegas shooting, so shit was kind of still like,
After the
weary.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So shit was kind of on edge. There's a lot more cops out and a lot more security and all this other shit. And we just had got legal for a rec too, so you can go in, without a card and everything, get everything. So we wake up, we're going out, we're going to a concert later on. I think it was YG. We're going to later on at Dre's. If you've been to Vegas, you know what Dre's is. It's for Future Lives. So
nice.
very big club out there. So the whole day we're drinking. Boom. Well, I think we're drinking. I'm drinking. Harv over here is like Houdiniing these drinks. He's like had like 3 cups. He would give me 1 cup that's filled up. He would have a cup that's filled, and then he had a blank cup. I would drink mine. He would throw his into the blank. He would show me the empty, and he would hand me another one. So then he would keep loading them up. So I probably
was doing some tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
Houdini,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some Houdini type shit, So in the midst of the whole day, I probably drank a liter of fucking alcohol. Just two separate bottles of separate shit. So we're at the end of the night, we go out, we go on the high roller. And I see, every time we're going out, I see these like fish bowls with these lights and shit.
At the bottom, yep.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm tired of seeing everybody have one, and I don't got one in my goddamn hand. I cash out. I go drop like $250 on these drinks for all of us that we all go, because it's my birthday. I'm like, fuck it. But when you go on a high roller, it's a 30-minute Ferris wheel, basically.
Okay.
And it's all you can drink. As soon as we get in, they shout, "It's his birthday!" So I'm you know what I'm saying, just going for 30 minutes, free drinks. Doom, 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 doom. Just, so we get to the club. I'm telling you, the whole day I've been drinking, the whole fucking day. We get to the club, I'm in this fucking line. I look at this line, I'm like, there's no way I'm making it in this fucking club.
What?
There's no way. So my shoe's untied. I go to tie my shoe. Drop right on my ass. Boom. I swear to God, there's a video and everything of it.
Damn.
Drop right on my ass. Boom. Can't even tie my own shoe. I'm fucked up. I get up, start stumbling. I'm like, yup, I gotta go. I walked outside of that in front of like all those people, all fucked up, you know what I'm saying, stumbling. Couldn't tie my own shoe. I walked home, to the hotel, just obliterated. Just no business walking home, dude.
Oh my!
It was a surreal moment. It was just like, wow.
Damn, your body was like shutting down. Like, I'm not. I can't do this.
Nope. So yeah, I wouldn't say that's embarrassing, but it was definitely bad to just sit on my ass and be like, yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Realize that you're fucked up in front of all these people.
I mean, I guess to go with your story, bro. Something about alcohol, man. Too much of it, you really lose control. So it's like, for me, my most embarrassing moment. Jacob was actually there for that embarrassing moment. So it was my 20th birthday, 21st, 22nd birthday.
One Oak, look, see, Julian knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, look, yeah, One Oak, that's what it was.
Yeah. No, so it was my birthday. I started early, 12 o'clock hit that the night before. Oh, it's my birthday. So got a little bit of sleep. Woke up. I didn't have to go to work or anything, so I started drinking at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. Throughout the day, I'm just slow sipping. Let's go party now with my friends. We all go somewhere. The night goes on, and then I'm like, man, we should go get something to eat. So I'm with one of my buddies. We go to Applebee's. Right, and by the time I get to Applebee's, this is later in the day, probably
afternoon.
Late afternoon, probably about 8 or 9 o'clock.
Mute that, Jacob. Mute that.
Hold on.
Freaking goof.
So yeah, this is go on to the story though.
There you
so
go. Sorry.
It was probably about 8 or 9 o'clock. We sit down. It's me and my buddy with 2 other people. Night's gonna be good for us. Yeah, we're about to get active tonight. So I thought I was about to get active. No, I wasn't. So I'm like, man.
He didn't get no types of active.
I'm like, man, I feel a little. Let me go to the restroom. Just try to I know myself. I'm like, let me throw up a little bit. Go to the restroom. I'm throwing up. Maybe like a half an hour goes past. I'm still in the restroom. They're like, he calls Jacob like, hey, what's going on with Ash? You all right? Jacob comes up there. I'm passed out on Applebee's.
Oh no.
Restroom.
I had to go into the stall next to where this guy was at. I stood up on the toilet. I looked over. You just see Ash like this. Like, you just, like, if you would have taped the outline for a body, that was his outline right there. He was curled. He was curled, too.
Grab the
He was curled.
No.
I looked at him. I looked at Trap. I said, all right, I'm going to pull my car to this car side to go entrance. Me and you, we going to get him to the back seat, and we going to take his ass home. Sure enough, we get into the stall. We looked at him like, Ash, you okay? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm good.
I said, let's keep going.
Like, no, I was
fucked up, bro. Like,
he said, let's keep going. Me and Trap looked at him like, shook our heads like, no, we are taking you home.
Yeah, let's keep going home, motherfucker.
We had to throw him in the back seat of my car, and
And they probably thought at Applebee's like, damn, did we do that? Like, did he like drink too much here? Like,
no, it was.
And we had met people up at Applebee's, and we had to tell them, hey, look, we got to slide Ash is
he's dead.
He
He literally doesn't exist right now. So,
do you want to see your dead body?
Oh yeah. So that was an amazing birthday, but yeah, that was definitely embarrassing because I'm like, man, I didn't even get to like interact with those people, so it was kind of like
I didn't even get to turn up all the way. I only turned up halfway.
no, I was all the way.
He was turned up.
Yeah, he was too turned.
Too early.
Too fast. That's what it was. So.
I think that's what it is, though. The moral of the story: don't day drink all day.
Yeah. If
Pace
you're gonna
yourself.
drink, just drink like space it out because too much at one time you will get.
Because you hear these two last stories, and it's not good.
It's not good. So Jacob, for you, embarrassing moments. I know your life's kind of embarrassing all the time, but
So
like, what's one
it
for us?
was. I was just turned 21, so it was 2013, 2014 time. I was invited to an Aaron Bunn party.
Oh boy, I was there for that then.
And so I was able to drink like without trying to sneak shit. So my mom gave me a Smirnoff vanilla vodka. I'm like, ooh, vanilla, okay. So I go to Dollar Store, get 2 $1 of Sunny D. You're gonna have some like a creamsicle, basically. So poured half. 2-gallon jugs of Sunny D creamsicle, ready to go. Get there, cool vibe. I know some people we drinking, you know. So I start to click with this one girl, and party's going, and then she leaves. So I just walk her to her car, made out with her. That's the first time I knew I was fucked up because I don't do random shit about that.
Okay.
So then I started walking back to the party. Then I forgot the rest. The last thing I remember is I leaned up against the car and threw up. After that, I blacked out. Woke up 7, 8 o'clock the next morning. Thought I was in my friend's car across the street from the party. I was in the neighbor's car that I just got into.
Oh no!
Like I was blacked out drunk. It was a fight or flight that my body was just like, we're gonna get you safe. I woke up missing my t-shirt from the night before. Had a white beater on. Throw up on me.
Well, you was active.
My phone
crazy,
was on 10%. I was going through anybody I could call. I didn't want to call my parents because that's just didn't want to have that conversation that early. So I actually called Gabe's girlfriend at the time, and she was able to give me a ride back home. And I walked into the back door. My mom looked at me like this. I said, "Mom, give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna go take a shower." More like 30 minutes. And that following day, I had another party I could go to, all you could drink at a beach house, and people just said, "Hey, you made it home okay. I'm glad you're okay."
You're
I'm like,
alive.
"Yes, I'm alive." And then months later, I find out the story of people did try to get me into a car. People were trying to look out for me. It's just that
Too stubborn.
blacked out,
dumbass.
drunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that
moment
that was my most embarrassing story. Well, one of them, top 5 for sure.
If I was like the neighbor and I fucking got in my car and like someone was in there I didn't know, I'm like,
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
you got throw up on you? Like, get the fuck out of my car.
Bro, it was bad. It was bad.
I would just call the cops like somebody's in my car.
Yeah.
Somebody in my
Excuse
car.
Yeah.
Help.
No, this is not good though. So yeah, so
But look, yeah.
The relationship that we all know now is to not drink so much.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
sir.
Well, mine was just not eating.
Yeah, I was
pizza.
gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Did you drink
I
at all?
I didn't drink at all. That
Man,
was the thing.
all right. Well, in John's case, don't fucking go to fucking Pizza Hut
At one,
and happy hour.
yeah.
'Cause you can get happy butt. All right.
Yep. But see, so basically, why we wanted to do that, the most embarrassing story, is because we know that everybody has their story. So if you have an embarrassing story, don't feel bad. There is much worse, and
Hell yeah.
we all have it. So it makes us who we are, and don't let it define you. I guess primarily. So it makes us who you are, but don't let it continue on with you in the future.
Yeah, my thing is like I don't get embarrassed easily either. Like I accept it, like okay,
Mm-hmm.
stuff just
Right,
happens in
right.
life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just got to like roll with it and deal with it. So yeah, just like I said, like John said, it's okay to have your little awkward moments, but you don't have to live in that space. It's okay to like keep going at the end of the day. So yeah, so we have this. We can do the giveaway now.
Sure.
Sure.
So do we want to stop this recording and then just keep on the Facebook or?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Just pause it.
All right. Well, we're gonna do Jacob. Well, damn. No.
Okay,
never
no,
mind.
it's recording now.
No, fuck you. You done already
It's
messed
gonna
it up.
sound so
dickhead,
crazy when we
ain't
chop it up,
It's
but
gonna
you
be
just
man.
abruptly like to
Well,
stop stuff.
You told me to pause it. You said pause the
Well,
recording.
you heard me talking.
Y'all are so loud.
Jesus.
All right, take us out, Gabe.
This has been
Yelling and screaming. Yeah.
This has been another episode of IOU. Thank you for listening. Make sure you guys follow us on all of our platforms: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Podbean, Facebook, Apple,
All of them.
everything. Thank you for listening.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you for listening to IOU Podcast, where you can reach us on Spotify, Apple, Podbean, YouTube, and our Gmail is IOUPodcast440. And this has been a great episode with my boys, and stay tuned for next week, and God bless.